Alright, everyone, here's a video to explain how to navigate through Microsoft Teams. I know there's been a lot of questions about how to do this, and some difficulties in, as we can see, right, with Alan having his own uh, difficulty. So what we're going to do um, is walk through this team site, especially our own page, right, so we get an idea of what to look for, what we need to look for, and what we should be focusing on when we access this site. So the general post, right, this is the general chat area where we've seen different announcements. You want to make sure you're reading through these announcements for important information like office hours from Mr. Rodriguez, as well as different schedule changes or updates about quarter grades and grades that are going into the grade book, things like that. The other thing about this is that there are going to be reminders, right, for assignments. So like here for our assignment for track A, track B, for these assignments, you're only completing one of the tracks, right? If you haven't watched the video, right, to roads diverged in a digital wood, right, which is part of your assignment for today, right, for lesson 1.3, you are going to be lost, right? And that's just one of these reminders that you need to be looking at all the information, walking through the instructions step by step and in order, right? Because that's how you're going to make sure you actually access all the right assignments and turn in the things you need to turn in, and don't do anything extra you don't need to do. Now, aside from this general general chat area where we're going to see a lot of postings and updates, these tabs at the top are equally as important. We don't have a lot aside from the files and this new one, right? We see this new update here that we're going to look at too. Now, we go to the files. This is where we have most of the key information. Specifically, we're going to be looking for, here we go, this APHGO 2020 running assignment doc. All right, this is probably the most important document that you're going to be looking at. As we look at it, we open it here in Teams. The beginning of it's just an intro right here. Welcome back to the course. The important stuff is here, right, where we start seeing these lesson numbers, 1.1, 1.2. These lesson steps here are the assignment for the day. This is what you need to do, right? It makes sense. It says today's lesson steps. These are the lesson steps you need to do. There's going to be a date assigned, which is the recommended date that you complete the assignment, just so you have, one day, one time block where you're finishing stuff. And then it'll go through the different assignments for each of the different days, right? You want to follow these in order. Don't skip around. This should be your first stop in looking over your files through Teams, right? This is the place you want to go to first, because this is going to tell you exactly what instructions to follow. If you skip around, you're going to miss something, or you may end up with an assignment that you didn't do, or you may miss out on a class code for a quiz, etc., etc. Right, you're also going to get a preview of the next week as I'm updating things, right, and different links and things will be made available as they're ready and as they're finished. All right, that's the assignment doc, right? This is the one that you want to look at first. Aside from this document, you have other important info like tutoring availability, right? When I'm usually on a work time, right? Because there are other things I'm having to do for the district, but I want to set aside time or to answer student questions and things like that. The general 9th grade schedule, right, to see when your other classes are, and that's going to be out to you in different forms too, as well as some review sources that you can look at. Now, aside from this, the most important thing outside of that are actually these two tabs, right? The assignments and the student work. So if you go into the assignments, you're going to have a list of assignments to complete. Your screen may look a little different. And then we click on an assignment and it's going to open it. Now this is the view that I have, right? This is the teacher view. So it's going to show me the assignments that I've given feedback on or that I've graded, and the ones that are yet to grade. We have all these that need to get stuff done. And there's still feedback to give back, right? So if I click on the status, I can sort it. And these are all the ones who have maybe turned in new assignments and are going to have new feedback, right? And I can click here and I can see the feedback that I've given to other students already. Now your view is going to be like this, right? You're going to see the points possible. You're going to have a rubric. This will help give you an idea of what you need to answer in the question in order to get the full points, right? The lowest score here would be the 70, 80, 90, and 100, right? You want to make sure you're reading the rubric to make sure that you are including the amount of information and the type of information you need to do, right? Now, aside from that, You're able to submit these assignments as many times as needed before the deadline, right? So these are all due April 6th by 10 a.m. All right, here's the track A, track B, right? You don't need to worry about both of these, right? We have other questions that are coming in. You only will look at the running assignment doc, read the instructions, and you'll figure out what you need to do with track A and track B. Right, I'm not going to give everything away here. You got to follow instructions. Now, aside from this, is a new folder file. This is the student work, which is more important now, and which took a lot of trouble, right? A lot of headaches on my end trying to figure this out. But if we go into student work, student access, we have these two different sets of files, working files and submitted files. Now, the working files is anything that you haven't turned in, right? So stuff that I've given feedback on, that I've returned to you. And this is new. Before, there's a little feedback box, and I'll give you feedback there. This is just easier for me, and it presents the information a little easier to you too. All right, so I go into my working files, and all of these are sorted by name. Right, so you have your own file, and you are a unique owner for your particular file. Right, so I can go in and edit and things like that, but the permissions that we have here are only for you. Right, so if I go into, So I go into Eileen's file, right? I can open the file here. I can also open the file in SharePoint. Now this is not a thing, not an app that you need, but just to show you the variability that we have or the permissions that are set. All right, here's the SharePoint files, or I can look at Eileen's specific folder here. I can go here and manage the access, all right, as this loads. And I can see that for access, it's limited to what we call the owners, right, of the group, which is myself, right, and Eileen. And those are the only people who have direct access to these documents. Right? Other people may be able to see them, but only we two in particular can edit these, right? So don't worry about your documents being edited by someone else. You are unique to your own folder. So we can go in here, we can look at the, let's say, self-created questions, or one of the assignments that we had for this week. And here we have, right, some updates that we've had on the assignment. And these are going to show you who's modified it, right? If it's modified by me, that means I give it feedback on it. So you can come in here to find your document. Now the unfortunate thing is that in SharePoint, it's not going to show the comments. It's not going to show the updates that have been put into place, right? And actually, I don't have comments on this one because I didn't comment on this particular assignment for Eileen. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to go to track A responses. And see here, an hour ago, right, I gave some feedback, and it can be difficult, right? You may not see the comments that I put on the document. So you can come into here, into these files, and although it's not going to show up in Teams, what I can do is see these three dots, and I can either download it if I have Microsoft Word, or I can open it in the browser, and it's going to open Microsoft Word online instead, right? And this should work with your phone, should work with any browsers, even if you don't have Microsoft Word on your computer, you should be able to open this online version. Now as this loads, and as this prepares, and we see these different files loading, and see here these little comment boxes. Right, this is the comments, right, that I've left on her document. Right, so I can open up here, and we can see the different comments that I've added to Eileen's work. Right. So in terms of navigating through, finding your feedback, right, looking at your documents, and seeing the new type of feedback that I'm going to provide you. We start here in the general chat, right? This is the homepage for the class team on Microsoft Teams. You're going to come up here to where it says Student Work and Access. Go into the working files, right? Because if I turned it or returned it to you, that's where it's going to be. You're going to find your name. You're going to go to the assignment on which I gave you feedback. And then you want to go ahead and just open that assignment in your browser. And once you do that, you will be able to view the comments that I've left and make edits in this file, right? So you can just resubmit this file when you turn in the homework again, and I'll be able to see the new stuff that you've done and be able to add comments back if I need to. So that's navigating through Microsoft Teams, right? The new tab that we have here up, Student Work and Student Access. Again, the most important documents you're looking for in the Files tab is that running assignment doc. You want to be looking at this every day we have class, right? I know it's not a live session like some of you may be used to. That's just limitations of workload and the way that the class is having to be run. But that running assignment doc should be your first place for instructions. And if you're not following those instructions, you are going to miss something. Aside from that, keep track of your assignments, the student work access for feedback tab to find your files and find your feedback. And as always, wishing you are happy, healthy, and safe, and reach out to me with any other questions if you have them.